What's up, Fortnite fam? It's your favorite Fortnite commentator, MonsterDface, and today we are back with another Fortnite Battle Royale video. In today's video, we're taking a look at ATL Leshy. That is right, he is also a much awaited and anticipated fragger from the EU division of the FNCS Invitational Grand Finals. We're not wasting any time here. We are jumping straight in with the monstrous top 3 finish, 9 eliminations from Leshy. But before we continue this VOD review, guys, if you're new here to the channel, if you're watching on the homepage section, which a lot of you guys do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up with competitive news, all the players that we review, and of course, the updates here in the Fortnite game. As you can see from the timeline, Leshy is going to be finding some serious mid-game frags, and I know a lot of you guys are probably struggling with how to capture impacts and how to set up some aggressive gameplay. So let's jump into basically how to W key with the king himself, Leshy. As always, guys, we're going to kick things up with the battle bus here for Leshy. This is a signature for the MDF videos. If you're looking to open up the battle bus yourself at home, say it with me, comment section. Press 6. All right, guys, he's going to land over in the Lazy Lake section of the map. This is the satellite drone view, and this is literally his style. He claims this big building right here because of the chest. He claims the one to the side, and then he quickly sweeps over to the other buildings before scrapping his way out of here. We saw the same thing with Furious, who took first place in NA East, and he did quite literally this exact thing. What we noticed in Furious's gameplay is that Furious did not loot the ammo crates. And I think that gave all of us a little bit of, a couple of brain cell loss. But hey, man, that's Furious for you. He was just quick on the rotates. We'll see what Leshy decides to do. All before it wraps all the way across the map and then coming back to Risky Rails. It's actually a really awkward rotation he takes here. But remember, he goes full-on psycho mode this game. He was really playing for first place. So using the river to, hurry on up to some battles. We'll see how this plays out for him. Here we go. We're jumping in with Leshy. What do you guys think about the new season that's coming up here in Fortnite? I would love to have y'all's opinion. Essentially, I know that the whole crazy storm change is affecting everyone's play right now. You can't heal. You can't fight in it. Like, I really want to know your feedback and your thoughts, guys. Also, let me know, what do y'all want to see here on the channel? Should we continue doing what we've been doing, covering all of the greatest players from the FNCS Invitationals until the next season kind of swings around? Or do we want to jump into some scrim gameplay or something a little bit different as far as the pacing goes now that we have this new zone? Just give me the feedback. I would love to kind of weigh it into my next decision when it comes down to the content. Because quite honestly, I didn't think that this whole thing was going to affect my content plan, but it has, right? The delay in the new season. And then, of course, this whole new zone thing that we're looking at. It's quite literally a new mechanic. So we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Anyways, jumping back into the Leshy review now. We have a pretty decent start to the game. He's got himself a couple blue weapons. You got to appreciate that rare loadout. Semi-tactical shotgun. Again, really nice here, and even finds some shields. And this is what I mean by he claims his building. All right, he claims his building because this building yields a hefty amount of chests in a nice little condensed area. Notice now as he cuts out, he's focusing on the metal here, gathering it as he can. And of course, more importantly, skating to these other locations where he can get all the rest of these chests. This house right here, if you can claim this house, I think you're kind of set for an early game. But if you can claim this house and the buildings next door, like, your loadout's going to be really, really good. We're talking like upwards of what, 10 or so chests his route is going to have right now. And it looks like Leshy's doing the same thing as Furious. He's picked up a couple of the ammo crates, but not all the ones. You just saw him skip one there on the roof for a second. So just something to think about. Because I thought I heard an alert go off for a second there, but alert sounds are off, but the visual cue will come up. So appreciate everyone hanging out here, guys. We are doing this live on Twitch at MonsterDface. So thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. All right. Once again, he's kind of getting his groove on here. Let's take a look at the map, man. This map is going to push northern, so now we're going to know why it is that he's going to take the river on out of here. This is such congested spot, man. This is such a congested spot. You have Kuna nearby, Airwalks and Airkin down here. This is actually kind of interesting now. Leshy's crossing outside with Kuna just nearby in the house, kind of skating around. Kuna's not going to be close enough, though, to break line of sight with, or break into the line of sight of Leshy. Unless she gets these buildings too, man. This is just ridiculous amounts of chest. This entire loot route right now is kind of fire. You can see it playing its part right now. It's starting to stack into how much ammunition he's having this early in the game. And they're being very defensive with the way he's looting out in the open here. Builds a ramp before he pops the chest there. this early in the game. And they're being very defensive with the way he's looting out in the open here. Builds a ramp before he pops the chest there. This is something to think about, but it looks like there's a bit of a, how do I say it, a correlation between Leshy's route and Furious's route, where they miss a lot of ammo crates. They're just going chests, right? They're just, you know, pretty much banging out the chest here. He's gonna stop and fish over at the lake right now. I think this is a huge risk, and you can see that it actually is a risk. Take a look at the player that's behind him. Airwalks here can like definitely line up his shots if he just stood around a little longer. He's not gonna end up tagging Leshy for a lot, but hey, a couple tags is still big tags here. It could have went a different way. So it all makes sense as to why Leshy was able to pretty much alpha up on his running through the FNCS. If this was happening game after game where he's claiming this lake for all the floppers and all the chests that he managed to pick up in this game, it's actually kind of ridiculous. Notice that there's a player right now in the water here. This is a super cheeky play, man. We talk about players doing 200 IQ things or like super cheeky strats. Just take a look at it. He's sitting in the water, third-personing Leshy right now, trying to see what he can line up. If Leshy would have walked over or gone down that river, play, man. We talk about players doing 200 IQ things or like super cheeky strats. Just take a look at it. He's sitting in the water, third-personing Leshy right now, trying to see what he can line up. If Leshy would have walked over or gone down that river for that boat there, that could have spelled disaster for him. I'm going to go ahead and assume that, yeah, he's just going to cut out of here and it's not going to be an issue just based off of the battle map. But my gosh, one little mistake and all of a sudden your game could be out the window. You can see how that could have happened here easily with MCES's Sweezer. I love what Leshy's going to do here. Pops a big pot, getting him back to his farm here, not wasting time too much while still maintaining his defensive hold. Sweezer's doing the same thing, mind you. He's optimizing the standoff, getting his farm on. All right, Sweezer decides, all right, he's not peeking. I'm not peeking. Let me go ahead and back up here. He builds a little more on the exit. Unless he's still keeping his guard up here. He doesn't want to rotate out and get tagged, I'm assuming. Although, if he really didn't want to get tagged, he could have just pre-built wooden walls with how much excess material is on the exit here. Again, Leshy's going to leave some ammo crates behind there. So, a lot of optimization kind of out the window, all because of the fact that they just want to move on. Right? Pressure's up. Pressure's up. And sometimes you just want to move on. And by the way, if you're wondering what mug we're using, it's coffee in one hand and confidence in the other, right, guys? Shay. Either way, dudes, I apologize for the mispronunciation. Feel free to let me know, guys. It's something like that, man. Okay, regardless, though, Leshy's doing pretty good right now. He's getting his move on and his groove on right here. Yo, shout out to my boy Conrem. Thank you for the raid, man. I'm in the middle of a recording for a YouTube video. Shout out to that guy, Conrem, man. Thank you, boys, man. Thank you, brother. We're so knee deep. I don't want to... I gotta pause here because we're doing a VOD review, so I definitely want to make sure I say thank you to all the raiders, but we also got to jump right back into the recording, all right, guys? Yo, love you so very much, Conrem. Thank you, brother. We appreciate it here at the Monster Familia. All right, my guy. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go, boys. Okay, so now he's cutting by the agency. We've seen a few players that come through here, jump into the vault with huge risk, man. But he's not going to do that. Instead, he's going to cut across Mage. We gotta give credit to Mage, man, who played out of the opens track and qualified himself all the way up for grand finals. A lot of pressure involved in doing that. And here's why Leshy ends up cutting down the river now. Look at how many players he's going to move across, dude. Kuna as well. Look at Kuna here. Remember, Kuna was at the Lazy Lake, and these guys are like like kind of on the same track. This is very interesting to me, though. Here's why. He's cutting down the map towards... This is not really a dead zone, you know? Everyone has to move up. He needs to get into the middle of the map if he wants the next zone. But he doesn't. The question is, if you do, you're still moving into congestion. This is so interesting. So he's looking for action right now. Like literally looking for action. So he takes the river all the way down until he sees a build fight. And then literally exits as soon as he enters into this area. As you can see, Benji Fishy's firing down at Kuna, and there's a fresh base to his side here. Catching Fonsa off guard. My God. Gosh, this is why you absolutely need to block yourself. Doesn't matter how safe you think you are. There could have been so much risk off in the distance, unless she's gonna find himself a freebie right here. Headshots, all right? Little controller action. On the standard or not moving player. Now landing underneath Kuna. He's gonna break the floor here. Very nicely done, kind of baiting in, and it's a three-way.
Yo, stop what you're doing right now and listen to this. I found this game from all the fake ads where you
battle. Most players were back out of this without the, you know, intent to take the fight, but instead he's jumping in. It's against Benji and Kuna. I like that he's switching his tracking here. He's trying to get to the player who is on the run from Benji. Little does he know it's Kuna, right? But he's literally trying to prioritize who is the more important player to focus. And to him, it was about getting that free point and potentially getting out. And that's what he's going to do. Since he can't secure the point, now he's going to go ahead and back on up. Benji's going to find some good shots here. Notice what Benji's doing already. Couple shots there. We can definitely give some credits to Benji here. He was pulling a little mongrel for a second, weakening the wall, thinking about whether or not it was time to jump down. Leshy plays a beautiful defense. He notices the wall ping, builds a wall, and then backs up two structures, and then switches to hard mats, guys. All right, these are all subtle, effective ways to protect yourself while you're on defense. So far, so good for Leshy. Let's keep it going. Once again, inches out, piece controlling his surrounding area, giving himself a little bit more control of the room he can battle. Benji reads that as a good sign to not take the fight and backs off here. You see what I mean? Even someone as good as Benji, okay? Even someone as good as Benji was smart enough to know that, all right, this guy is setting up a really good defense. He's kind of ahead of the curve right now. This is not going to be an easy or free elim. And he backs off of that fight. I'm also just getting word from my production in the back that is not Kuna. It is... Who is it? It's Swaggy. Okay. Yeah, guys, I run $1 million production when I do these YouTube videos. So, you know, I'll make sure we never make an error there. All right? Excuse me for that slight hiccup. This is looking good, though. He still wants this fight, right? So he's looking for Swaggy right now. He's looking for Swaggy right now. Here it is. All right, setting up the fight. Literally try to pull the classic wall hit right there. Here, pre-firing the wall right now. Firing with the AR. Jump fires with the ramp there. All good control methods. Interesting little ramp edit right there to keep himself slightly elevated. I wonder if that was a mistake or not. Another wall replace there. He's just choke pointing Kuna. Kuna's going to be running out of materials soon with how fast he's full boxing time and time again here. Remember, these wooden structures that is nearby are easy to break into, especially for someone like Leshy who knows how to set up a nice little phase. He's not going to take the risk, though. He's going to go ahead and heal up. Popping the shield here. Still keeping the pressure on. Looking for opportunity, not finding it just yet. And no! Swaggy walks into his box, and that's going to be the full green light here. He's trying to set up the ramp boost. And now, Swaggy actually makes a vital error. Oh, snap. I just switched off on accident. We'll go back to it, but Swaggy makes the vital error, guys. He misses the jump on the ramp right here, and now he's in a tight position. If he can't edit this floor, it's all over right now. He basically needs to land the one pump. He can't hit it. No, Leshy doesn't miss. Well played, GG's. He does not miss. He hits the shot when it matters the most. And now he gets to save the big pot too, so he gets a free extra one off of that. The siphon in return. All because he had control of the wall. He just applied a little bit of pressure and forced that player into the side box there. Well played. And that's a big impact frag, man. These kind of fights, honestly, guys, are risky to take. Let's take a look at the world map for a second here, because these are fights that are in what would be congested areas, right? But he cut from, instead of going for the center map, he went down the side. He came across 3 players back here, eliminated one of them. One rotated out, leaving him isolated with a single player to fight. As Frenzy Fishy's coming out the zone here, it's a little bit of a gamble, right? To fight on the back of the zone. It's a little bit of a gamble, and it pays off. Look at Benji Fishy, for example, who was on the bridge, pushes out to fight another player, and it's going to be Glory who takes him out. So now Benji falls here. You got to think about it from Leshy's perspective. He knows, right? He's read this. He's read this, right? He saw the fight happen. He sees the big builds. He saw it was Benji in the feed. Now he jumps in, tries to get the little ambush shots here. He doesn't fire any away, but this is full on W key mode. Let's see how Leshy's going to end up setting up the fight here. He tries to go for the cone, misses the cone, and Cypher Glory actually misses his own side jump. Now capitalizing on that mistake, he hits another shot here. Beautiful edit on the floor down. And this is, again, choke pointing his enemy. Oh my gosh. He just worked Glory, dude. Steps up. Again, controls the wall, opens it up, reads it like a book, dude, and pumps him in the mouth. My gosh, he just met him with a drop kick off the top rope. Easy right there. We'll play for Leshy, dude. That was a quick and dirty fight, man. If there's any way you want to have a mid-game fight, is you want it to go like that. Quick and easy, dude. Quick, man. Well played, well played. All right, so now that's a little bit of an upgrade for him. He's going to pick up the mythic rifle as well off of that one here. So all of a sudden, he's found himself with the super endgame loadout. It's 2 floppers, big shields, extra minis for the road, mythic rifle, and a pump shotgun. What I will say is I think this loadout is not very balanced. This is something you guys have to consider back at home when you're playing Fortnite, is balancing your loadout, right? There's not a lot of synergy between the slow fire rate of the heavy Meowsicles rifle, or just a heavy rifle in general, and the pump shotgun. It's very, very risky to run such high damage weapons without a great spam follow-up. Just something to think about, all right? Something to think about. What I will also say is that of the regions that we've covered so far, there's something special about the EU regions and the way that they are aggressive in their nature of their mid-game fights and the way that they play. They are very, very just aggressive, man. I don't know how else to say it. When you look at a lot of the players from NA East, or NA West. Not a lot of them are hyper aggro come to mid game, but you see that players like Leshi, Mr. Savage, right, Kiriyashi, there's so many of them that quite literally look for the action in the mid game, or at least don't like to sit idle, right, and just let things happen. Instead, they look for fights, man. They actually look for fights. Let's just keep going with the review here, though. This is a great little crossover. It's going to be not a late rotate by any means, but just a well-timed one. What you'll notice is that Frenzy Fishy's been, like, on the heels, right? Just very close by Leshy this entire time. I wonder if he's going to decide at any moment to actually jump into this battle. And no, Leshy's going to catch eyes on him instead and be the first to engage in a little bit of a firefight here. He's not going to catch anything, though, as he now has to burn mats for triggering the shot the first time there. Now it's a matter of where do you park yourself here as you're coming in so late to the base. You see the trees being busted in the background. And notice what Leshy's going to do here. This is something very interesting. He sees the tree break over here and how many bases are there. And all of a sudden now he's like, yeah, you know, this valley way is not a good idea. I'm going this way. And these are small rotations that he is, you know, small ways that he's bending his rotate here to stay a little bit more safe, right? He's staying just on the outskirts of those other players. Now turning his focus back to the zone here. Interesting, though. He jumps in a bush. Even with all the players nearby, he's still trying to set up a fight right now. 44 damage from the heavy. Mythic rifle is a very powerful shot here. This is a scary place to base up, guys, because of how many players are nearby. Switches over to hard mats. Yeah, I would not be surprised if he becomes focused by the lobby. And for that reason, this is a good play by him. Very good play by him to branch out and burn extra material, especially hard materials at this point. Here's Frenzy Fish, though, who knows he's been shot. Looking for the fight. Leshy's going to branch out once more here. He tries to go for the pre-fire through the build. Once again, a good layer change. This is the scariest part to be on, though. The lowest layer of the base. You never really want to be down here. Oh my gosh. Big shots here now. And remember, when he's down in this low level, it's easy to get focused and you have a limited amount of place. You're also very easy to read. Good positioning here, guys. I'm gonna pause the replay in like 2 seconds to talk about it. Let's see it. Let's see what happens in a quick moment here. All right, so he's healing up. The positioning here I like. He was focused by players on the back half of the zone, and he was focused by Diablo back here. So instead of staying on the side where Diablo can see him, he's putting Frenzy Fishy in between him and the guy in the back, giving himself a little bit of a layer adjustment or a positioning adjustment. Granted, the zone's coming in, so this might not be the safest place to be on, but he's moving himself out of the line sight before the heavy focus from the rest of the lobby comes in. Now he's popped the big pot. Here comes the confidence surge. He was already feeling it before, but now that he has the big pot fully active in his favor, it's time for him to swing it back around. Fred's build's coming out. He's trying to look for the control of the walls. Remember, he does own all of this. This is a bit of a drawn-out fight at this point. What we can do here is we can watch this in a bit of a slower motion here. So we can keep up with all the action. I like watching these fights in a bit of a slower time. All right, so he was going for the cone kind of peek there. Still deciding what he wants to do. Look at how he's trying to look for the wall to break. See what he's doing? He's looking for the wall to break and to time it perfectly so he can step in. The pump AR follow-up is actually going to catch Frenzy Fishy there. My gosh, dude. These kind of things can't just be taught. These kind of things can't be taught. They only come from practice and confidence. Waiting for the wall to break so that he can fire off the shot simultaneously. Well played. And someone asking here in the chat, is Frenzy griefing both of their games with a drawn-out fight? Sort of, right? Frenzy did not have to take that fight for as long as he did there. But some players, you'll notice, will just catch a grudge against you, right? Like, Frenzy was following Leshy for a long time, right? He was already building a case against Leshy since the bridge. So in his mind, he's probably thinking, this guy's a dummy, right? He doesn't even know I'm here. I've been following for a while. He hasn't looked back. And the moment he did look back, he fired at me. And now, right? Now he's just trying to be psycho mode. So, like, maybe he's not that good. That's probably what Frenzy was thinking as he was reading the situation. Little did he know, Leshy was just on fire, and he was quite honestly feeling himself, right? He was quite honestly feeling himself. He was looking for the action this entire time around. That's why it kind of played out like that. Let's look at the zones, though. Fourth zone's going to favor Leshy here. The impact frag is going to go into his favor, obviously, for keeping his material count looking kind of nice. The layer congestion is actually on the back half here, mainly because the zone went center this time. Typically, and this is something we can kind of talk about here. Typically, when a zone favors in one direction, you know, the lobby's easy to stack and read. This time around, the zone just went middle. So instead, it's creating a nice spread on different packs of the map, right? Look at how these patches here have all this this heavy congestion. Leshy's actually gonna pull half in, half out. Lucky for him. Lucky for him right now. This is actually huge right now to pull half in, half out, guys. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing this live right now. We'll catch up with everything up afterwards. Here's Artor's gonna walk in and just get absolutely bodied. Hold up, what just happened? How did Artor rotate into this? Bro, this is such a crazy game for Leshy, dude. The action here is ridiculous. The action here is absolutely ridiculous. Let's watch this one more time. I'm just going to zoom out. So, you have Leshy here. Where did Artor come from? Artor's over here by Queasy. Artor hits a great rotate. Nice and early here. A very safe one as well. He didn't have to build all this, but he does anyways. He bases up right next to Leshy. Leshy hears him base in, and then hears him axing out the walls. So this is where Lesh is like, wait a second, you're in my territory. So let's see how fast he reads the situation. There's like little to no hesitation here. You ready? Boom, he hears it. Edits. Boom. My God. And the piece control. So not only does he read it instantly, recognize that a player's below him, but he also instantly edits, goes on a counter offense, bops him, and then puts the cone down in his base. So he completely controls the situation here. So not only did he read the situation well, he reacted instantaneously, guys. Instantaneously, like quite literally. Well played, Celestia here. Now picking up the spare loot, he's going to throw it into his old base. And he finds himself an SMG. So remember how we talked about his loadout wasn't that good because it didn't have that much balance to it? You can see that he also feels the same in some way. Having that heavy AR just wasn't enough, right? So now he swaps over to that blue SMG, guys. Swaps over to that blue SMG. And for those of you guys tuning in, I know I was supposed to be doing CRR, but the CRR replay crashed, so I switched over to Leshy here now. This is why we're checking out Leshy, guys. Just want to keep you guys up to date. But, alright. What happens next is all a matter of Leshy's kind of prowess here. He's using these extra materials to give himself some area control now, nice and early, so that he can continue to refarm up, position himself accordingly. Remember, these are all enemy builds here, so he's looking to break this now. All right, deciding that he doesn't want to waste any time there. He hears players in his base, by the way. There's a bunch of enemies kind of here. He's trying to reinforce this now, using metal here to fully box out the remainder of this base. Okay, so now this is all in his control here. Once again, going back, a little word of advice for anyone that plays a situation where they catch a major impact and they're building these tunnels. I would absolutely suggest you close these walls. Protect your little loadout stash. It also saves you, right? Look at how close Teak has gotten to Leshy. These were once Leshy's builds. They're now Teak's. So Teak's is literally moving into the territory of Leshy. Little does he know, right? He's losing control of some of this area. And that's what I mean by, you know, you ought to just play it safe. Right? Just box it out, play it safe. You don't want to, you know, be the result of someone who heavy snipes your back wall. And look at that right here. Teak walks, or Leshy walks into that old base, and this is where Teak is right now, and he's actually gonna catch it. So, I was wrong. I just said Teak took control of the wall here. Teak made a major mistake. Teak should have taken this wall. That's his fault. He walks into enemy builds and doesn't replace every structure. That is absolutely his fault. This could have went the wrong direction if Teak would have just played this smart. If Teak would have taken the wall like he was supposed to do, Leshy would have walked into this base, and Teak would have been on the other side of the foot here, being able to counter offense or, you know, apply pressure to Lesh, who did not have those walls. So that's definitely Teak's fault. Simple, but important error. And this is what I mean. Enemy.
Yeah, I just keep dying. Every time. I've got the right gear, and my player, he's just amazing. He's really putting the effort in. I'm starting to
This is what I